Welcome to Liberty Talk Canada. I'm Odessa Orlewicz. So today I'm going to be doing a bit of a different show. We as freedom fighters and we as truthers and people that have realized sort of what's going on, we have to start taking care of ourselves. And I know we all talk about, the last 4 years have really been very hard on us emotionally and physically, where we can see what's happening. We're looking at articles, seeing what's going on. We're looking at stats, and it can take a huge toll on our bodies when we're trying to let people know what's happening and they're not listening. But also, truthers spend a lot of time on their computer trying to promote the truth, trying to get it out, looking to see what's going on, reposting. And sometimes it can be way too many hours a day. And I think we all have to admit there's some days that we are on the computer too long, and we have to start to take back our health and our power because, we're in this for the long haul with what the WHO and the UN and, all of the tyrannical health treaties they want to put in. It's stressful. And they're making other people sick with things that we try to warn them about, but we're getting sick from stress and also spending too much time on our computers some days and into the night. And I know we all feel the effects when we're on a computer too long. I know I do. So I wanted to clarify and let you guys know that electromagnetic sensitivity, let me get the exact right name here before I show you videos on what you can do to help your blood. So, um, electromagnetic hypersensitivity is now in Canada and in the States and in Sweden and the European Union. It's a recognized problem with the human body. More and more doctors are writing about electromagnetic disease. So I'm going to put two links in the description so you can read all about it and all the different things that it can cause in people, from skin rash, neurological problems, headache, uh, brain fog. There's a huge list here. And so when people tell you, when you're complaining about 5G and EMF, that you're a tinfoil hat, well, it's recognized right here as something that is valid, something that's happening to the human body. So I'm going to provide you with those so that you don't have to, fight for that. That is the truth. It's happening. More and more people are having weird issues with their bodies. And we are the guinea pig for 5G as well as all the EMF. And I've done shows on EMF with experts that have come on.
As of today, 26 American embassy staffers in Cuba, one diplomat in China now are confirmed to have suffered what the U.S. government calls health attacks. Now a mother is speaking out for the very first time in this NBC News exclusive. Last year, Catherine Werner, a U.S. diplomat stationed in China, told her parents she was experiencing strange sounds and sensations in her apartment. Her health was declining rapidly.
Just struggling, and she's just a shell of what she was.
Her mother, Laura Hughes, an Air Force veteran, was so alarmed she quickly booked a flight to China.
You notice when something's wrong with your children, and there was something very wrong with Catherine.
Laura tried replacing the apartment's air filters and buying imported food. Nothing helped. And then Laura says she started feeling it too.
We heard a very high-pitched sound in Catherine's bedroom, and we heard a very low pulsing sound in the living room. Our heads would pulse. You would feel like you would want to regurgitate. You could become instantly paralyzed, instantaneously fatigued.
Laura has also developed visual problems, including sensitivity to light, which is why she's wearing dark glasses today. It's similar to what U.S. diplomats in Cuba reported feeling, in what the U.S. government now says were targeted health attacks. As mother and daughter struggled, Laura says their dogs also began acting strangely.
They'd be shivering under the bed when we returned to the apartment. They would vomit blood. They didn't want to go back into the apartment after long walks. And they would run down the hallway and stop just where the living room begins and just sit there, and their heads would move simultaneously. We were so scared. We didn't know, what could they possibly be looking at?
After 3 months, Laura, unable to tolerate it any longer, headed back to the U.S. 3 weeks later, the State Department medevaced Catherine out of China.
The doctors diagnosed Catherine with traumatic brain injury. Their findings were the same as they found for the U.S. diplomats from Cuba.
Attorney Mark Zaid represents Catherine and many of the Havana diplomats affected.
There are things that are identified in their MRIs and CAT scans as showing traumatic brain injury that shouldn't be there for people who have never had concussions.
The State Department brought in outside experts. Their findings? The victims appeared to suffer from a new type of brain network disorder. Who or what caused it? A mystery.
The United States government is still not sure who or what is responsible for those health attacks,
leaving Laura Hughes and so many others in the dark.
I, too, have been diagnosed by the same doctors through the VA hospital in Philadelphia with traumatic brain injury.
In total, 16 Americans posted in China were evacuated after reporting sounds or symptoms. But other than Catherine, the U.S. says none of them are considered confirmed cases.
Some people have suggested that maybe it's all psychosomatic, mass hysteria.
Science doesn't lie. These scientists and these doctors and specialists have been working very hard and long on us. There is no way you can fake this.
Have they told you or Catherine whether this is permanent damage?
Yes, it looks like it.
The NIH is now studying the syndrome, but Laura is calling on the State Department to do more.
I do not believe that our military or diplomats are safe because this weapon system is creating havoc.
And do you worry that this could happen to other diplomats in other countries?
That's why I'm here. That is why I'm here.
And Hughes is speaking out, she says, because her daughter and the other diplomats cannot without fear of losing their jobs. Many told NBC they fear the government is downplaying what happened. The State Department says it took quick and decisive action after confirming a case in China and is providing employees with the best medical care back here in the U.S.
Well, you hear from the mother and daughter, and it's so convincing, and then you hear about the pets, and you think to yourself, oh, my gosh, so you wonder, like, what is causing this? What kind of weapon could they be using?
They are still investigating, Hoda. The strange sounds initially pointed to a sonic weapon, but an FBI report this year ruled that out. Now, U.S. officials tell NBC News they are considering the possibility of an electromagnetic weapon, which could cause brain damage. Certainly a lot more reporting we've got to do on this.
My goodness.
Stay on it when you think about her saying it's likely permanent. She's wearing those glasses because the light bothers her.
And understand a wonderful future where we can use brainwaves to fight crime, be more productive, and find love. Let's roll.
Sensing your joy, your playlist shifts to your favorite song, sending chills up your spine as the music begins to play. You glance at the program running in the background on your computer screen and notice a now familiar sight that appears whenever you're overloaded with pleasure. Your theta brainwave activity decreasing in the temporal regions of your brain. You mentally move the cursor to the left and scroll through your brain data over the past few hours. You can see your stress levels rising as the deadline to finish your memo approached, causing a peak in your beta brainwave activity right before an alert popped up, telling you to take a brain break. Your mind starts to wander to the new colleague on your team, whom you know you shouldn't be daydreaming about, given the policy against intra-office romance. But you can't help fantasizing just a little. But then you start to worry that your boss will notice your amorous feelings when she checks your brain activity and shift your attention back to the present. You breathe a sigh of relief when the email she sends you later that day congratulates you on your brain metrics from the past quarter, which have earned you another performance bonus. When you arrive at work the next day, a somber cloud has fallen over the office. Along with emails, text messages, and GPS location data, the government has subpoenaed employees' brainwave data from the past year. They have compelling evidence that one of your coworkers has committed massive wire fraud. Now, they're looking for his co-conspirators. You discover they are looking for synchronized brain activity between your coworker and the people he has been working with. While you know you're innocent of any crime, You've been secretly working with him on a new startup venture. Shaking, you remove your earbuds.
What do you think? Is it a future you're ready for? You may be surprised to learn that it's a future that has already arrived. Everything in that video that you just saw is based on technology that is already here today. Artificial intelligence has enabled advances in decoding brain activity in ways that we never before thought possible. After all, what you think, what you feel, it's all just data. Data that in large patterns can be decoded using artificial intelligence. We're not talking about implanted devices of the future. I'm talking about wearable devices that are like Fitbits for your brain. The newest way to monitor attention is through a device like this one. These are ear pods that are launching later this year. These ear pods, much like the video you watched earlier, are ear pods that can pick up brainwave activity and tell whether or not a person is paying attention or their mind is wandering. Okay, well, you might think, fine, but even if we can tell whether a person is paying attention or their mind is wandering, you can't tell what they're paying attention to. You would be wrong. Turns out that you can not only tell whether a person is paying attention or their mind is wandering, but you can discriminate between the kinds of things that they're paying attention to. Whether they're doing something like central tasks, like programming, peripheral tasks, like writing documentation, or unrelated tasks, like surfing social media or online browsing. When you combine brainwave activity together with other forms of software and surveillance technology, the power becomes quite precise. So what do we do with this? What do we do with technology that enables us to monitor brainwave activity for attention? Do we embrace it? Do we resist it? I believe that there is a pathway forward with such technology. We might soon even use the technology to help people wake back up. This is a haptic scarf that MIT Media Lab has developed, which uses brainwave technology in a responsive way to give a person a little buzz, literally, when their mind starts to wander, to help them refocus and hone their attention. I'm giving you the positive use cases because what I don't want the reaction to be is, let's ban this.
One thing we can do is start to look at ways to heal ourselves when we aren't working, when we're not doing this. And I came across about a 20-something minute video on YouTube one night when I actually watch YouTube on my TV, so I'm far back from the EMF, etc., because I like to get off the computer when I can. So I want to show you a video that I found very, very interesting about listening to frequencies that are healing frequencies. And there's many different hertz that you can listen to that are healing frequencies. They talk about how Rockefeller changed the frequencies into one that is not great for the human body. Whether you think he did that for a certain reason or not, it's up to you. You can decide. There's many articles debating why he did it. But there's also military documents that show which frequencies can hurt the human body when they're trying to control people. So that exists. So none of this is a conspiracy theory. In science, they recognize all of this. When they're trying to do crowd control at protests, they use frequencies. So I think all of you guys know this, but everybody should be tuning in to frequencies that are healing as much as possible. And I've started doing that when I drive, when I'm working, when I feel stressed out. And I have to say, I'm really loving it. And then I stumbled upon frequencies you can listen to help with tinnitus as well. So if you go on YouTube and you just put the words healing frequencies, 432, 528, whatever it is, a whole bunch will come up. They'll even have frequencies for your back, frequencies for headaches, frequencies for all sorts of things, anxiety. You can listen to different ones. I've started to do that. And I think that it's important that we need to help our bodies while we're being attacked emotionally, physically, in the air, and with EMF. I think you're really going to enjoy this video. I will give you guys a link to the actual video as well. So if you just want to share that one without being on my show, that's fine too. So let me just set this up. And a quick message from my sponsor and we'll get going. What is the body's most important nutrient? By volume, the average body is 62% hydrogen, 24% oxygen, 12% carbon, and only 2% everything else. Health science is concentrated on minerals and vitamins, but those are part of only the 2%. When considering proteins and carbs, they miss the importance of hydrogen, how we normally get it, and its role in the body. Hydrogen is the building block of life, and it's involved in virtually every chemical process in the body. Without sufficient hydrogen, the body starts shutting down systems that aren't immediately life-threatening to preserve hydrogen and life. First, the regeneration system shut down, you age quicker and heal slowly. Then, the immune system shut down, you get sick easier. And finally, organs start to fail. Science is proving that chronic lack of hydrogen causes or exacerbates nearly every ailment known to man. How do we normally get our hydrogen? What is the best way to get hydrogen into your body? What is Brown's gas? Learn more at aquacure.life. That's aquacure.life. And if you do decide to buy the AquaCure AC50, put Liberty spelled normally in the discount code box for 5% off the retail price, and it's a 1-year money-back guarantee. Norb and I absolutely love ours.
This experiment will show you how they brought blood cells back to life using just sounds. I'm telling you, this is very real. Moreover, you'll see how, after putting sand on a sarcophagus, hieroglyphs started to appear as if they have their own frequency. What you're about to witness is so powerful, you'll want to start incorporating it into your life immediately. Keep watching all the way through. This video is loaded with mind-blowing experiments that are sure to astonish you. Let's begin.
My name is John Stuart Reid, and I'm an acoustic physics researcher. Pythagoras said that music could be used in place of medicine. It got my attention, and I thought there must be some experiments that could be conducted where we can carefully measure the response of music to some sort of healing situation. The first experiment that I conceived of was using blood. You take a vial of blood and you place it into an incubator with a small loudspeaker in the incubator that's feeding music to that blood. At the same time that that's happening, we have another vial of the same blood. We have a Faraday cage, which is electromagnetically screened, but it's also a very, very quiet environment. So that blood is not receiving any music, it's just receiving quiet. We go through a protocol that first dilutes the blood by a certain ratio with a buffer solution, and then we extract a small amount of that mixed blood. When we put that blood into the cell counter, it will tell us how many cells are actually live and what the term is viable. The cells in the Faraday cage have not fared very well at all. Mostly dead.
But if the cells are dead, that means that the cells from the tube that got exposed to my voice, they'll be dead too. I mean, it's the same blood.
I hope you can see this. Dilute the sample. More cells alive than the cell counter can count. That's a huge difference between the music and the quiet.
Is that true?
Well, look.
This is amazing.
So I think we should repeat and see if we get the same result.
Another.
Above the range that it can count, cells that are transiting towards being dead have been actually re-enlivened to the extent that so many of them are now alive. It's really wonderful. An amazing result.
Wow, what we've just seen is absolutely amazing. It's like a real-life example of what's said in the Bible. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. The experiment we saw proves this in a big way. It was Anders Holte, known for his unique, kind of otherworldly music, whose voice re-enlivened the cells. That's mind-blowing. Of course, the point of this experiment is to showcase the power of harmonious sounds. It's not just about Anders Holte's unique ability, it's a bigger picture about good frequencies and their importance. This experiment helps us understand how vital these harmonious frequencies are. And it's not just any sound that has the power to re-enliven cells, but those that are in harmony, in tune with nature, and beneficial to our well-being. Credit for this goes to Dr. John Stuart Reid and the documentary The One Field, a film by Sippy Raz. Without this film, we might never have known about this incredible experiment. I really encourage you to watch the entire film because it's an eye-opener. You'll find links in the description. Think about it. If Anders Holte's voice, along with such beautiful and harmonious sounds, can wake up cells that were almost dead, it really makes you wonder about the music we listen to every day. Some of it is deliberately off-tune or tuned to harmful frequencies. Now, let's take a look at another one of Dr. John Stuart Reid's incredible discoveries, this time from his work in the pyramids of Egypt. Imagine this. Dr. Reid, in a setting as ancient and mysterious as the pyramids, places sand on a sarcophagus. As he conducts his experiment with sound vibrations, something absolutely phenomenal happens. Hieroglyphs begin to emerge. It's as if the sand, dancing to the tune of the vibrations, starts to unveil secrets that have been hidden for thousands of years.
It all started back at the Great Pyramid in 1997. 3 weeks before I was due to go out to Egypt, I severely injured my lower back. I thought I would have to cancel the whole mission, but somehow I managed to get into the pyramid. Other people carried the equipment. The experiment that was designed was to make visible the resonances in the sarcophagus. I set up the experiment, then I stretched PVC membrane across the open top of the sarcophagus. Then I sprinkled sand on the membrane, and when we switched on the sound, this is just pure tones, electronically created tones. A whole range of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs started to appear in the sand. First one was the hieroglyph for backbone or spinal column. It was writhing about like a snake. Antiquities inspector, he was like, "How you do that? How you do that?" We saw lots and lots of different hieroglyphs coming out on this membrane. But what was so extraordinary was, within 20 minutes of making sound, all the pain in my back left me and I never did come back. It's an extraordinary moment in my life that changed my life forever.
The remarkable healing Dr. John Stuart Reid experienced in the Great Pyramid strongly underscores the therapeutic potential of sound. His sudden relief from chronic back pain serves as a compelling testament to how sound frequencies can directly and significantly impact our physical health. This breakthrough opens thrilling new research possibilities in sound therapy and holistic healing, suggesting that sound is not just an abstract concept, but a practical tool for addressing physical health issues. This leads us to revisit the role of sound in ancient architecture. The Great Pyramid, renowned for its precision in both architecture and astronomy, may also have been intentionally designed with an intricate understanding of acoustics. Could it be that this iconic structure was more than a tomb or monument? Perhaps it served as an advanced resonant chamber for healing purposes, or other functions that we're yet to fully comprehend. The emergence of hieroglyphs in response to sound vibrations in Dr. Reid's experiment hints that the ancient Egyptians might have encoded a sophisticated understanding of sound's effects in their writing and architecture. This revelation could radically transform our understanding of ancient civilizations, suggesting they had a profound grasp of the physical and metaphysical aspects of sound. But if music and sound hold such power that they can reanimate blood cells, as seen in the previous experiment, or heal Dr. Reid's back permanently, it raises a critical question. What effect does the music we listen to, the music that's promoted everywhere, have on us? We've all seen how music can have darker, even demonic aspects. If sound can influence cells in our brain, particularly our subconscious, then the impact of our daily sonic environment becomes a matter of significant importance. Here's a clip of Michael Jackson discussing the hypnotic power of music, underscoring how deeply and subtly it can affect us.
Singers, when they sing songs, it's like a mantra. when you repeat a chorus over and over and over. So when a kid hears a song and he starts singing that chorus over and over and over, then you start to hear it in the alpha state to the subconscious mind. So you start to become the song or become what you're saying.
In the Bible, it speaks that there's life and death and power in the tongue. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you say. Be careful with the things you consistently talk about, because you're inviting that energy and vibration into your life.
After hearing Michael Jackson talk about how music can transform our subconscious, much like a mantra, and Tyrese Gibson referencing the biblical verse, death and life are in the power of the tongue, we're led to a crucial aspect of music: its tuning. It's widely discussed that the standard tuning frequency for music has been shifted from its original tone, a change attributed to decisions made by entities like the Rockefeller Foundation. This shift in frequency may seem minor, but its implications are profound. Music is more than just melodies and rhythms. It's a constant stream of lyrics and vibrations that we absorb, often without fully realizing their impact. As Michael Jackson pointed out, these lyrics can become our subconscious mantras, shaping our thoughts and beliefs in subtle yet powerful ways. The frequency at which music is played, now commonly at 440 Hz, a shift from the traditional 432 Hz, is another layer to this. This alteration in frequency can have a significant impact on how we perceive and are affected by music. We're essentially facing a double challenge: lyrics that can unconsciously influence our mindset, and frequencies that might be affecting our well-being at a cellular level. This realization calls for a more conscious approach to the music we choose to listen to. Instead of passively consuming mainstream music, which may be crafted to be addictive or carry certain subliminal messages, we can opt for alternatives. Indie music, or any genre that maintains the integrity of sound and lyrical positivity, can be a healthier choice. By selecting music tuned to more harmonious frequencies, such as the original 432 Hz, we can foster positive emotions like love, hope, forgiveness, and optimism. This isn't just about musical preference. It's about making choices that nourish our minds and bodies, creating an environment that supports our overall well-being. But you don't have to just believe me. The proof is in the experiments we've seen, and if that's not enough, the real-time visualization of words and sounds offers even more compelling evidence. For a more in-depth look, let's turn to Dr. John Stuart Reid and his fascinating work. His presentation, coupled with the CymaScope invention, provides an extraordinary glimpse into the world of sound visualization.
Seeing the hieroglyphs, that really inspired me. I wanted to develop an instrument that would make sound visible. Ultimately, I developed the CymaScope instrument, which uses a very small volume of water that is exquisitely sensitive to vibration. When any beautiful sound enters into the water, what I see every day is a beautiful image. Beauty begets beauty. We are 90% water. Think about the membranes around every cell in our bodies receiving a beautiful pattern, a harmonious pattern. Those cells are all going to be beautifully massaged and feeling, wow, we're being supported here. And there's a very clear change when you compare a healthy cell sound with a cancer cell sound, which produces ugly pattern.
In his work, Dr. Reid emphasizes how the CymaScope, using water's exquisite sensitivity to vibration, reveals the beautiful, intricate patterns created by sound. This is significant considering that our bodies are composed of a high percentage of water, around 60% in adults. This high water content makes us naturally receptive to sound vibrations, much like the water in the CymaScope. When beautiful, harmonious sounds enter our bodies, they can create positive, supportive vibrations at a cellular level. It's a form of sonic massage, a nurturing and harmonious influence on our cells. On the flip side, this also means that we are potentially vulnerable to the effects of negative frequencies. Imagine the impact of constant exposure to discordant, jarring sounds or music tuned to frequencies that are not naturally harmonious. These could potentially lead to a state of disharmony in our bodies, contributing to stress or even illness. This concern isn't just hypothetical, it's grounded in the reality of how sound interacts with our fundamentally water-based bodies. The concept of resonance is key here. Just as a particular frequency can cause a glass to resonate and shatter, certain sound frequencies, particularly those that are disharmonious or unnatural, can resonate in our bodies in potentially harmful ways. The music industry, often focused on what's commercially viable rather than what's holistically beneficial, can sometimes promote music that is out of tune with these natural, harmonious frequencies. Therefore, it's crucial to be discerning about the music and sounds we allow into our lives. Just as we care about the food we eat and the air we breathe, we should also be conscious of the sonic environments we inhabit. Choosing music and sounds that resonate with natural, harmonious frequencies can be a form of self-care, an act of nurturing our physical and mental well-being. In continuation of this exploration into the profound impact of sound and frequencies on our well-being, there's another intriguing perspective worth considering. This comes from Dr. Leonard Horowitz, a man with insightful views on the nature of sound and its effects. He discusses a concept known as the devil's interval, a specific frequency that he suggests can have adverse effects on our health.
Is called the devil's interval in musicology. That when you play 7/4/1 with 5/2/8, it creates such an annoying and dissonant energy, diseasing, stressful, that if you continue to listen to it, you could die. They have held the secret knowledge by which the pyramids were constructed based on the math. All of the universe is constructed according to these 9 tones. They knew about them. In fact, they instituted. In fact, it was the Rockefeller Foundation in 1939 that instituted the world's standard tuning. The Western world tunes to a 440 hertz frequency. That when you tune your instrument to that, the F sharp note is 7/4/1, precisely. Not 7.41.1 or 0.2, it's 7/4/1, which meant that there was a clear, scientifically researched intent, and indeed that's exactly what happened. The 7/4/1 A440 link came out of military research in the 1930s to induce psychosocial stress and dis-ease to the max. It was selected that A440 would be the standard tuning for the Western world. In fact, quote, mass hysteria, end quote, could be induced by instituting that frequency. And now you begin to explain why you went from the era of Frank Sinatra, where women would mostly swoon over Frank. Suddenly, Elvis Presley, rioting began. It was scientifically determined for military acoustic warfare research that if you simply used A440 standard tuning, that you could engage about 6% of the population perhaps to actually go into this kind of crisis, into this hysteria. And that those people then, especially if they were televised and they were promoted and broadcast, could potentially affect a social, virtually British invasion. Now you begin to reconcile what happened. This information is all in the book of 528.
As we reflect on the journey through these experiments and discussions, we come to a profound realization about the power of sound and words. Starting with Dr. John Stuart Reid's revealing experiments with blood cells, where music was shown to rejuvenate cells that were in a dormant state, we begin to see the tangible impact of sound. Following this, his work on the visual emergence of hieroglyphs in Egypt further illustrates how sound can interact with physical matter in extraordinary ways. The wisdom shared by Michael Jackson and Tyrese Gibson adds a deeper, more personal dimension to our understanding, highlighting how sound and words shape our perceptions and experiences. Dr. Reid's groundbreaking work with the cymoscope, making sound visible, bridges the gap between the seen and unseen, providing a stunning visual representation of sound's influence. Lastly, the insights of Dr. Leonard Horowitz about the devil's interval and the potential negative impacts of certain frequencies round out our exploration. Together, these discoveries and insights resonate deeply with the biblical proverb, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue," found in Proverbs 18:21. This ancient wisdom is echoed in the scientific revelations we've explored, showcasing the incredible power of sound and words that we all possess. You might walk away from this video thinking it's just interesting or informing. However, I urge you to recognize these experiments and discussions as demonstrations of the power within each of us. They are not merely scientific curiosities. They are calls to action, invitations to use our innate abilities for positive change. Let's start using this power, as the Bible suggests. Use your words to create hope, to light up someone's day, to compliment and uplift those around you, and mean it from the heart. Your words have the power to shape reality, to spread love and positivity in a world that often seems overshadowed by negativity. Be mindful of the music you listen to and the sounds you surround yourself with. We've seen how the frequencies of music can impact us on a cellular level. Choose soundscapes that are harmonious, that feed your soul with good vibrations, and steer clear of those that could be subtly influencing you in harmful ways. Remember, you're all under a sort of hypnosis, the constant bombardment of sounds and messages that shape our subconscious. Break free from this trance by consciously choosing what you allow into your mental and emotional space. Fill your life with sounds and words that resonate with love, hope, and positivity. By understanding and harnessing the power of sound and words, we can take better care of ourselves and others. We have the power to create a ripple effect of positivity, to make a real difference in our lives and in the lives of those around us. So let's embrace this power. Let's use it wisely, and let's start now. Spread love, spread light, and let the harmonious frequencies guide you towards a life filled with positivity and well-being.
So I've been listening to healing frequencies while I work during the day. First, I put a little bit of the news on just to see what they're saying because it's my job to report on their narrative. And then I've actually been having in the background, playing off of YouTube from far away on my TV, different healing frequencies. And I have to say, it sure makes for a nicer day when you're working. So try it out. You can get it for free on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's your thing or not, but I like it. I can't listen to it for 3 hours straight driving. I need to mix things up. But these are the kind of things that we aren't told about. And I found the most interesting part about the cells and cells coming back to life and dead cells and cancer cells. That's really important. So I know a lot of you guys know about this, but it's a good reminder, and some of you don't know about it. So thank you for, enjoying a different kind of episode today where, I just feel like our health is so important. And so while you're out truthing and saying no and all that stuff, when you're home, it's a time to try to really help yourself to stay healthy because we need you. We need all of you guys over the next 40, 50 years. We know what's happening. So we need you. So try to stay healthy, enjoy, get in the bath, try not to be negative, listen to these frequencies. And again, in the description, I will talk to you or I'll show you about the 2 links that are talking about the EMF frequencies where it's being recognized in Europe, Canada, America, Sweden, etc., that EMF disease is real. And they'll talk about the diseases. I will also link the video I just showed you. So you can go to their YouTube channel, subscribe, and share from there if you like. Last message from my sponsor. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I'll be back soon. Did you know if the banks do a bail-in, they can take the contents in your bank vault? But storing your gold and silver at home could be a huge security risk. Every day, our dollar is worth less and less. Inflation is stealing the only savings families have. Now more than ever, it's so important to hedge the savings you've worked so hard for. Banks have been failing all over the world and social credit has all but arrived. But did you know you can do wholesale price vaulting and retail delivery from the most prestigious, reliable company in Canada? Did you also know if you decide to leave Canada, your gold and silver can be sent right to you after you arrive to your destination? The only company I personally use and trust are those awake guys at New World Precious Metals. Take control of your family's future. You can just click the link in my show description or type in the web address libertytalkcanada.ca/gold to get on their mailing list, attend their webinar, or book an appointment. Let them know Odessa sent you.